Okay. All right. So, welcome, Rex. Today we are going to be talking about being human. And I have a special guest with me. Rex is from Australia, so he has been kind enough to join us for an interview. We will explore Rex's story, his awakening, plus have a conversation with him about uncovering what always has been inside of him. Um, or within him, I should say, right? So, Being Human is out now. It's on Amazon Kindle. You can get it on an ebook, or um, you could buy the paperback through Amazon. And Rex is going to introduce himself and share a little bit about his background. So, again, welcome, Rex. How are you?
Thanks.
Please let
Thank
us
you.
know a little bit about your background and introduce yourself.
Right. Thanks, Leonor. So my name's Rex, 52-year-old Australian from down under. Uh, for a number of years, I've always worked in the building industry and farming and driving trucks and things like that. A few years ago, um, things started to change, and there was a range of turmoil within the body between some marriage separations. There was a lost business, and then there was some actual injuries, and that brought a lot of this stuff to what we're going to be talking about in a minute to a head. And
Hmm.
so,
Wow,
yeah, that's
that sounds life changing, right? It usually starts that way, right? This whole big, I call it the tarot moment in tarot, where there's
yeah,
a
yeah,
transformation or a judgment. I heard you recently started reading tarot, right?
yeah, yeah. So I'm having a bit of dabble in tarot,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
yeah,
that's
I
great.
just
So Rex is exploring everything that has to do with the 5D, but also integrating it in with the 3D. So I'm really excited to interview him and get to know him a little better. But yes, you had this transformation moment in your life, and it usually starts that way, right? You think that the universe is against you, but really it's for you, and it sounds like that's what you were having.
it was definitely the case because each of those things on their own at the time you hold resentment and anger and why me, why is all these things going wrong.
Right.
Looking at it now after a couple of years of those since the last thing happened and looking at life in a different way, I actually look at them now that I needed to go through those for me to be where I am now. I needed to have that to understand and look at things differently because up until then it was just a merry-go-round of life. The business was like a monster that you had to feed. You were flat out keeping everyone happy, but you weren't really being yourself. You were being what you thought everyone was expecting you to be,
Yes.
um, and it's a very big transition from where I was. So.
Yeah, and it can be resentful, right? You start to resent people, you start to resent your job, you start to question
Oh
yourself.
yes, yeah, yeah. You just keep thinking why me? What I'm trying to do the right thing, and I just seem to be getting slapped down with all these things, and with the injury, there was 5 concussions in 12 months.
Wow.
Um, you know, one one's bad enough, but five of them together, and that I actually had to stop working. I'm retired. I'm on a pension now. I can't work because there's days there where I can't hold concentration or they're good enough to be able to go to work. So now my new job is helping people where I can. So
Yeah. So Rex is a sound healer. And I'm wondering, Rex, like, do you think, I mean, this is very far-fetched, and I'm sorry if that sounds so blunt, but do you think like your head trauma and concussions opened up another level in your 5D spiritual gifts, so to speak? For example,
look, we've actually had this discussion a number of times of whether that was the catalyst. There
Mhm.
were things that were happening prior to,
Right.
but I sort of put it down into simple terms. They kept giving me information, but I wasn't running with it. Um, and and basically they kept knocking on the door And
Hmm.
eventually they just kept knocking harder and harder until you actually
Hmm.
say that. Because I was laying in hospital going, well, my whole world has just changed.
Right.
I don't know whether I can go to work. I don't know whether I'm going to come out of hospital. That's the condition it was at one of the knocks. And so that transition started to happen at that point. But at the time, from I'm quite an analytical person. From that time, you're going, well, was this something to do with the brain injury? Was it, I was having visions in my eye and hearing things and stuff like that. So I was putting it all down to had to be the injury.
Yeah.
And then over time found, well, no, these things aren't just there. They've got their own personality, their own mind. They've um, and then we started experimenting from there, and then it was able to develop. Like even at one case there where I was having these spots in my eyes, I kept going to an eye specialist,
Wow.
and when he couldn't find anything there, and I said, well, this is going to sound crazy, but I think I'm having a spiritual journey, and this is what these things are.
Yeah.
And the look on his face was sort of quite ironic from a specialist point of view. But he said, "Hey," he said, "if that's," and it wasn't rubbed off as in, "Oh, if that's what makes you happy, leave it there." He was
Uh-huh.
going, "Well, look, it sounds valid." He said, in my profession, I can't say, "Yep, that's what you've got now." But like I said, all that stuff, I looked at it analytically of whether it was just an injury, whether it was just something, and and the more it went on, that no, these things all had a mind of their own.
Yeah. Yeah. That definitely sounds like a death, rebirth, and transformation. It's what we like to call it here. Um, because you literally, your old self is dead. And
Yeah,
upon death rose this new Rex. And you are still learning about who you are. You thought you knew a lot about yourself, but there's a side of you that you're still uncovering. And it sounds exciting and wonderful. It always is, actually, but it's scary because there's no vocabulary or I mean, if you end up finding a guru or a teacher or a guide, that could help you through that journey, that's amazing. But still, even if you do find someone like that, it's still a scary journey, but nonetheless exciting. So
I
that's
can
good.
fall back on to answer these questions and go, this is happening. Like, um, which is where the book came into it, because basically I became a test case to the as the
Right.
book as the book was being written. A lot of this was going on for me, and so we would go through, because I know one of the authors, and so I was able to go through that information, and that would be spoken to me, and I go, okay, well that makes sense now of what's going on. And there was things there, even in just normal conversations, of looking at things in a different way, and that was all part of this opening too, of looking at everything that went on in a different way.
Right.
Um, don't just rely on what we're led to believe, and we've always grown up in this. This is how it is. This is how life is going to be. Even the
Right.
simplistic thing of life going, you're going to go to school, get an education, get a job, get married. Everything's going to be great, but they don't put in all the things that can go wrong along the way. And then even life from work, um, of what used to be important to me now is irrelevant. I don't have much interest now in material things. It's all um, that I've walked away and someone was happy when I walked away, and things like, or rekindling friends that I haven't seen. It's quite an amazing and different feel.
Right. Yeah, which actually is a great segue because I was going to ask you about your encounter with the book Being Human. And yes, you were actually the guinea pig, where you were able to fill in the author's gap when it came to, for example, your transition between the 3D and 5D. So one of the chapters called Transition of Spirit, on page 68, is exactly what Rex is talking about. He was able to see the difference between the 3D and 5D, but, had to go through this, huge transformation, including an injury, where he had to question a lot of things about himself. So I'm just going to read a little bit about the third, fourth, and fifth dimension and what people go through when they do start sensing a different vibration or frequency around them, which in turn makes them change their ego, their 3D ego. So with the third dimension, people are living in ego and separation. With the fourth dimension, people start to awaken as they realize that there is more than the body and the mind. And once you get to the fifth dimension, it's about incorporating the soul and in everything you do with your soul on this plane. So some of the symptoms that people may experience once they go into the fourth dimension is increased curiosity about the big life's question, like political and social issues, philosophy, metaphysics, as well as awareness of their behavior and awareness of all animals and environment. Another symptom that people may experience while they're opening up to their the fourth dimension is waking up between 2 and 4 o'clock in the morning, which are considered to be spiritual hours. Seeing number sequences constantly. Um, and there's a few more too. But once you get into the fourth dimension and cross over to the fifth dimension, there's a crossover symptoms, right? So crossover symptoms will be like heart palpitations, deep reflective periods, seeking to be in nature more, awareness of synchronicity. Um, and you struggle with everyday conversations and activity because, like you said, um, your life has changed, right? Your friends who you thought were your friends, or you don't have a need to really reach out to them because maybe you have nothing in common anymore, or maybe they can't help you with, these reflective questions. But you have grown and changed. They just seems to be more in the 3D, while you, Rex, is now transitioning into the fourth and fifth dimension. And how does that make you feel? Like, how does that make you feel when you hear that you're a person that's transitioning from was in the
It's
3D to 4D now into 5D?
yeah. Look, it's and the way it's listed in the book and that there is spot on. That transition, it's almost like a checklist, as in what you're reading out, and you can turn and go, "Yep, that's happened. Yep, that's happened. That's happened." And I've found that very much with a lot of the things that are in the book when these things are happening. And and I use the book like as a reference now for me to go back through things, and you go, "Oh, what that's what someone," because some of these changes, like you were saying, with friends, crowds,
Sorry, Rex.
going to a crowded area and things like that, you you look at it differently. If you didn't know what to expect, it could be a bit disconcerting because you're trying to work out, well, why do I not get on with this person anymore? And it's not even that it's an argument. It's not on the same page. And things that you might have liked before may not do it for you anymore.
Right. Exactly. Um, with the book Being Human,
I couldn't sit still and do nothing, but I can actually sit now under a tree and just listen to the birds and the wind. I couldn't do that before. So,
yes,
um, and if you didn't know that, you'd think you were going crazy,
right.
for the want of a better word.
Yeah. Just give me 1 second. Okay, sorry, I'm back. Um, yeah, well said. um, I think a lot of people nowadays are going through the same thing, right? This realization or self-awareness that they are something is different about the world, and most of all, something is different about them because they're not viewing the world
Mm.
as to. So that is a great example. Thank you for sharing that.
And it's amazing how many people you run into now that like you said, that is happening, that you seem to be aligned with people of the same kind, as in that thinking. And but it's at all different levels where people are just questioning and going, well, hang on, something's different, something needs to change, and something feels like it is changing. So
Right.
it's quite an amazing thing to watch.
Yeah. Do you think that the book is going to challenge people's belief that they previously held once
Yeah,
they?
definitely. Like there's an earlier section in there that was talking about religions and the differences in that.
Yeah.
That as initial, just getting you to raise questions and question what you're led to believe, and like I said, it's not there saying that you will do this way. That certainly doesn't come across that as that sort of book. It's here's some other options. This may be what you were told, but here's another way of looking at it, or something that maybe they'd left out of the information of how they've told you, and that on its own is then starts, and then all the other bits along the way is like when you seem to be going through this transition, you seem to go through all these little chapters, and they all make sense. And even then, there's wordings and names of things in there. You'll hear someone else say it, and you go, "Oh, I've read that before, heard that before," and you'll go and look it back up again because his names will come up and words will come up, and you go, "Never heard that before." But all
Mhm.
of a sudden, when you start to look at it in the book, go, "Oh, so that references now I can make it make sense to what they're talking about." So
Right. It's like unlearning the narrative.
yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
could be
Just
difficult for some
having
people.
having options, looking at things just a bit differently, and
Yeah,
um, just making people question,
exactly.
um,
Yeah, it's
and
okay
question
to
and
question.
ask. It's okay to ask questions.
Yeah.
It's and I think some people have a fear of a question because they put it back into, because unfortunately the industry is the wrong word, but the this whole area, as soon as you start talking about it and things like that, it's white coat, foil hat, like you, and it's not the case. Like um, and the amount of people that you would think were like that when you get talking to them, and they feel comfortable and they'll open up. And there's more and more people there where things have happened to them, but they just weren't game to say it to anyone because that's of how people were going to react to them.
Right. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, unfortunately, there's a stigma behind that. But I personally, I'm okay with always questioning um, the narrative or seeking more information than just taking it at face value, which a
Mm.
lot of people now do. They watch the 6 o'clock news and they just eat it all up and then when they talk to someone who is questioning those narratives and going beyond by researching doing their own research themselves,
Yeah, yeah,
they don't want to hear it. They're like, nope, sorry, don't mess up my bubble here. This is where I'm going to stay. Right, they don't want to
yeah.
go beyond
And
that
and the
bubble.
thing is that there will be people that will always be like that
Yeah,
because we're all different. So
yeah,
some are happy in their little comfort zone and don't want to rock the boat, and others are thinking, well, there's more to this. It's really no different to someone wanting to say maybe work for themselves, and someone that was happy to be in the same job for 50 years and they're happy with that. They didn't need to
yeah,
expand. That they're happy with their bubble the way it is.
yeah. So one of the things Rex does is raise human consciousness with his sound healing. Um, and I was wondering if Rex, can you do a little sample for us with your instruments, if you will, just a little sample before we click off?
Uh, yeah, just
Yeah, so just so we could just all again, because the book does um, while you're getting your stuff, the
yep,
book does get into raising the human consciousness, and I think Rex is a great example of helping raise the vibration on this earth. He is very connected to this good earth and all the things, the beautiful things in it. And Rex has told me stories about how he just gets this download, and all of a sudden he's on a street corner and using his instruments, and people are just, admiring the sounds that are coming from his bowls, his sound bowls, and people thank him. People thank him because they don't know what they're feeling, but they know that they feel different. There's a shift there, a positive shift there versus, maybe what they were feeling before, which was negative thoughts or, just the world being messy. So yeah, whenever you're ready, Rex.
All right, so this is only two bowls out of a set of seven.
Yeah.
So for the people that don't know, crystal bowls, they're actually singing back to me as I'm talking. The crystal bowls have different frequencies and a different tone, all aimed at another part of each chakra of your body, and then when you start blending different ones together at the same time, the impact is amazing. So it's something that I had a message I was drawn to and I needed to try, and even been experimenting in different places. It was on top of a mountain, on top of a big granite rock. It's been on the side of the river, near the ocean, just to try and see how the reactions is. And each time we end up with 8 people standing around watching what's going on. So came through on the your sound was.
Can you do that one more time for us? Uh, yeah. It's really nice and peaceful just watching you, Rex, but I don't think the sounds came through, unfortunately. And I know it, obviously it's not as powerful as
It certainly won't be as powerful when you're
in
not
person.
feeling the vibration of it. So yeah,
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
I live on the road now full time, and I live in a van. I'm in a caravan park at the moment, so over here at the moment it's 11 o'clock at night. So it'd be interesting to see if there's any lights start coming on around the caravan park, but because it is quite powerful. It's not,
Yeah.
some people when they first hear them they go, oh, they're loud, and it's not loud as such, but it's very powerful.
Yeah.
And what they say is usually the ones that are giving you a bit of a niggling that you go, oh, something, that's the one that you need. That's the one we need to work on with you. So,
Right. Yeah. How can people reach you if they do want that healing from you? Is there a way to reach you?
at this stage, no, I'm just traveling around, and it's not a business venture for me. It's if I feel someone needs some help or I just feel I need to do it,
Yeah.
and that's how it's working. So if they happen to be in the right part of Australia where I am at the time,
Mhm.
they'll run across me. So
Well, maybe in the future you could record some of those and
yeah, yeah,
to hear it on YouTube if that's possible.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that'd be fine.
All right. Well, thank you, Rex. I would like for you to come back again and talk more about your adventure in this beautiful journey that you're experiencing. But I do appreciate you letting me interview you today. Thank
No
you.
worries. Anytime. See
All
you
right.
later.
Bye bye.